Board of Education meeting 24th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Please join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mr. President, you call roll.
Mrs. Dane.
Here.
Mr. Gillingham.
Here.
Mr. Huska. Here. Mrs. Zelli.
Here.
Ms. Pritchard.
Here.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Here.
Mr. Karen. Here. Mr. Stiver.
Here.
Mr. Matt.
Here, thank you. Letter D, our mission statement. We're a learning community providing students with a competitive advantage in career technical education and academic excellence. The purpose for us being here tonight. Thank you. 2, consent agenda. Approval of consent agenda items. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Second. Mr. Ruska. Questions or comments about the agenda this evening, folks? Okay. Not being raised, roll call.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Huska. Aye. Mrs. Dane.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mrs. Zelli.
Aye.
Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mr. Karen. Aye. Mr. Stiver.
Aye.
Mr. Matt.
Aye, thank you. Number 3, public participation. This is the kind of meeting where someone from the public may speak for up to 3 minutes. So choose, please stand up, state your name, your community, detail. Floor is yours. None being hand raised. That's all. All right, thanks so much. Number 4, the next regularly scheduled board meeting will be November 26th, 28th at 6 p.m. here in this room. And then we will have a board meeting on December 7th. It will be not a board meeting, but it will be the holiday dinner. And then January 23rd will be the organization meeting 2024 for information purposes. Number 5, educational presentation. I'd like to turn it over to Mr. Kalina and some of his close friends. He's brought with him.
Good evening, everyone. We're excited to be here with you. And I'd like to do something a little different than a typical presentation that Ms. Kalina might provide to the board, where there's a PowerPoint presentation and I share some information with you. I thought this might be a little bit more exciting to actually bring our students from our dental assisting program here to talk to you this evening. And if you recall, last year in dental assisting, we had how many students? Oh, I had four students. So you can see the impact of the free tuition initiative here, because we now have 12 students in dental. And out of the 12 students, I'll just share with you that 7 of the students are students that took advantage of the free tuition initiative. And so I just thought it would be awesome to turn things over to them and have them share a little bit about how this has truly changed their life by having this opportunity to come to our school and take advantage of this incredible opportunity, something that has not happened anywhere else in the state of Ohio. But first off, I want to introduce our teacher to you, who's been with us for a couple of years. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Sherry. I'm a full-time dental assistant for a pediatric dentist here in town. So I deal with kids from 1 to 18 all day, and then I come here to teach these lovely students. They get a lot of the what happens on a daily basis with the pediatric dentist. I'm one half of the dental team. I teach on Monday and Tuesday. My co-instructor, Mrs. Sava, also helps, and the two of us teach chair side assisting. And I'm sure everybody's been to the dentist and knows that assistant hands, instruments, and any of the equipment needed. So it's very important that they're there so that they can get a smooth dental appointment, because, excuse me, everybody loves going to the dentist. Maddie, one of our first students, is going to.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I came to the Career Center for Cosmetology, and after doing hair for 2 years, I just decided I didn't want to do it for the rest of my life. And then I saw the free tuition and decided that was my out, and I don't have to do hair for the rest of my life. Hi, everybody. My name is Nevaeh. I also attended the Career Center. As I lived here, I realized that I was interested in the dental assistant program, and I student had it. And then I found out about free tuition and I joined it. And it's pretty good so far.
Have you ever been in this restaurant before?
Yeah, I was in the chef and restaurant program with their micronutrition.
No, I'm gonna tell you guys, so I'm gonna kind of have her throw something in here, but I asked her, I said, so why did you switch careers? And she said, oh, I can't tell the school board why. And I said, you know what? You can be honest with them. You can tell why did you switch careers?
Because I didn't like the aspect of someone yelling at me in the restaurant. So I was like, maybe I should try something else. And I was interested in dental assisting because I had braces. And I thought it would be fun and something to try.
And so you want to
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about the career center is that career exploration, find out, discover a little bit more what you like and what you don't.
Hello, I'm Maya Quinlan. So I'm a 2020 graduate of the Medina Career Center. I was in the business marketing program. So I was a 2020 graduate, so everybody understands what it is. That kind of put a damper in my career path. So I went to Penn State and trying to navigate online education was very difficult. So I ended up leaving college and I ended up working. And since then, I've been in the workforce industry and I'm the sole responsible person of paying for college. So trying to have my living expenses while saving to go back to college rather than taking months out became difficult. So the opportunity of the free tuition is really kind of what kept me from staying in the workforce and kind of getting stuck there. It's giving me the opportunity to work full time and then come in and find school and then hopefully find a job once I graduate. So. Hi guys, my name is Stephanie. I did not actually graduate from the Career Center. I did graduate from Trinity High School down in Garfield Heights, and some people are familiar with that. I did have to graduate, go to Tri-C for a few years. I did try figure out what I want to do with myself, but just like Maya, COVID did kind of dampen my plans as well. Kind of online was not too easy for me to concentrate. So after that, I was like, I'm just kind of done with it. I go to school. I went on to go work at a dental office as a trainee. I was hired. And I ended up not liking the corporate world that I was at because I was a trainee. They kind of treated me like a low person. So I decided to come to the Career Center. Just in those months, I did, save up a lot of money because I wasn't really sure. I was spending a lot of money at Tri-C all those years. It was difficult. So I was sure to try to save up money. So I was actually prepared to pay for the tuition this year. But this free tuition really helped me save more of my money. So that way after this, I can get my career going a little bit further with stepping stones to go into a further career education after the dental system here. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. Hey guys, my name is Emily Filica and I graduated from Medina High School. Following graduation, I felt pretty lost because I really had no idea what it was that I wanted to do, and my parents weren't able to offer any help financially. So the idea of like going to college or further my education, I was just really discouraged with that. The stress of paying money, knowing what to do. I felt there was no room for error, so that was really stressful. But then I came across this amazing opportunity, and I really love to do something that I could do what I wanted to accomplish. It would be something that I'm hopefully excited about. I've been so far through this program, so thanks to this program. My mindset of going to school has changed.
My name is Sandra. I went to Medina High School too. I didn't really have any college plans though, because I didn't like any of the classes that high school provided. They were all like very basic. I wasn't good at math. History was boring. Language arts, I don't like essays. So I had no idea what I wanted to do because college was high school. It was 10 times worse. So I was like, this is great because I really hate this. And my parents were like, I think you should really go to college because that's what your dad did. That's what your brothers did. So they're like really pushing me towards it. But it wasn't for me. So I didn't go to college. I didn't apply anywhere. And then I didn't really have any plans because I thought I was just going to work full time. And then my mom came across the Career Center and they said that it was really close and it was free tuition and that they had a few programs that I might be interested in. I was like, I like that. So it's this thing, I think. So I tried it out and here I am.
And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
Oh, I come from a family of 10. I have 7 siblings. So I'm paying for school mainly by myself.
Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Lucy and I graduated from the Medina and I was originally gonna go to Star State, but then like hired me, but they put me on a 4-year waiting list, and I was gonna graduate in 2030 with an associate's degree, and I was not for that, and then I was gonna move to Chicago because of a closer, like more not waiting list program that I could get into, but then I sat next to you at graduation. You told me you're going to this, and then my friend Santo told me he was going to this. So then I just joined, and I found out it was free tuition, and that helped me. So, yeah. I'm Victoria. I graduated from Bronx High School, and I was actually going to go into high school to like this week, but I actually found a better subject in some group to like the IT. It was like I've been working for years in nursing homes, and I like it, but not really what I want to do. And my mom actually did this program 2 years ago. She's a dental assistant now. She's going for her FL expanding. And she said I'd be really good at this. So that's why. So I went to college online, so exploring different my education. I had a lot of trouble online because people saying that everybody asked questions and I wanted to ask questions. I just couldn't have the answer my year. Decided that I wanted to try education and learn, so I went to become a full-time preschool teacher. And then I decided I didn't really like doing that so much. Kids are great, but not all day every day. So I decided I wanted to try switching gears and still wanted to be in like the person-centric kind of careers. And I've been really enjoying dental assisting classes right now. I like learning about all the different like differences in people's mouths. Everybody's different, and there's all sorts of different things to learn. And I really appreciate the scholarship.
My name is Paul. I have a lot going on. I actually didn't complete school. So when I was told about the adult education program, I can still take up and get a second chance for getting my high school diploma. I knew that I had to get on the training list. It took me a little bit at first. I had heard about it, I'd say 6-7 months before I actually applied. A lot of my coworkers and managers at work really just got me going to wanting to do this. You know, they want to see me succeed. They want to see me do more with my life. Although dental assisting isn't exactly the career I want to go into long term, which the long term goal that I'm trying to go into is the crime scene detective. I've been fascinated with that kind of stuff as a kid, and I just think it would be a good fit. But I got to take it one day at a time, and that's how I do it here. I just want to say thank you guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully there's other students like me that can take advantage of this.
Yeah, I just had a question for any of you. Do you think in the schools that you were in, that there are a lot of other kids that would have loved to do this if they had known about it?
Okay, now you guys are allowed to block the camera because this was supposed to get a picture. It proved that you're real good.
I'm
I don't say it, please excuse me because I didn't promise them that they could have pizza party tonight. Public speaking was not real high on the list of things that we want to do this evening. So what you meant was, Dawn wants the instructional time to be in. Right, Dawn? And you can see they come from a huge variety of background and a variety of school. As I mentioned, mine is from White River. So, you know, they just have, they're putting lots for the whole county encompassed. What a great representation of the impact that the initiative has had with that number of students being able to participate in it. And yeah,
And I just thought of it since I'm new here. Are they seniors or juniors or?
Oh, they're all adults.
Oh, that's right, they did.
They're all adults and they're all between the ages of 18 and 24.
And how long does it take them to get through this program?
They will finish the program in 1 year. So I mean, it's basically it runs the school year. So it's very typical of a regular high school is what they follow. And they're here 4 nights a week, so they give up their evenings. And they're here from 5:30 to 9:30 every night of the week. And I will tell you that they're really enjoying the class. We've got great instructional staff here. And they have told me in lots of conversations and me working with them as they were enrolling and signing up for the program, what just an amazing opportunity this was for so many of them. So I just thought they were a great representation to tell you a little bit about how this is impacting so many lives here in Medina County. And so they obviously want to share that thanks with you first.
So I could, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Chris, if there was a lot more demand, is there room for one?
Their class was pretty full, honestly, but I can tell you that I didn't turn anybody away from that.
Could you have a second class?
I guess we'll see how things shape up.
If there was a demand.
I would imagine if there was enough demand, there's certainly things that we can look at like that. Right? We would try to accommodate, of course, we're going to try to accommodate as many students as we can, just like we've always done on the high school side.
Right, the facility would only allow for the 12, so we would have to get creative in scheduling. It might be a during the day or something. The facility itself, the room itself, 12 would be very.
Yeah, we're pretty full.
I'd say,
We only have 3 stations.
yeah.
I want to tell you, as a group, that I could not be more proud of this board. You had the courage to do this. We're the only ones in the state that did this, or have done this. And listening to all these, this is what their reason why they're here is the exact same reasons that we talked about. Why they become this program and why it's good for Medina kids. That's all done a good job. Thank you for everyone. So thank you. Let's adjourn. We have a second. Good morning. Anybody else have any comments for Mr. King? Thank you.
Oh, no, I thank you.
Thank you so much.
So one look back, everybody thinks about free parking. But can you tell me of those students, how many of them were able to get some funding through some other means?
Okay, well, that's a great question. So, just in looking at last year and this year, okay, we had 4 students last year. I can tell you just in working with some of those students going out the door, those students were receiving financial assistance. Okay, so you had 4 students that basically paid last year. I have 4 students in the program this year who are receiving financial assistance through a variety of measures. And then you have 7 students who are receiving free tuition. So as far as the amount of dollars flowing into the program, it would be the same as it was last year. However, you are now educating 12 students.
Well, there were 4 things. There were 4 big questions. There were 4 big. An example of the young man. I can speak of 2 other circumstances. But the young man at the far end, if he earns his high school diploma through the adult diploma program, the state will reimburse us for that. So that's found money, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that as you do more and more lot of these kids are gonna be eligible for, either Pell Grants or whatever.
To answer your question, students don't know if they're eligible until they apply.
Right.
And then they find out they're eligible, and then we're able to tap into those dollars and bring those dollars back into the district.
Yeah, I mean,
But what was the impetus for the contact? It was the opportunity for free tuition.
Sure.
And then we're pursuing, those dollars where they're available. But there's, there is actually some additional dollars I'm trying to go after for a second chance grant, which was just announced. That I'll see if I can be successful with some of those dollars as well. Those are for students that were in college and left. And now this is their second chance to come back. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any more questions before we move on? Thank you, everyone. Number 6, the approval of minutes. We're going to have 2 separate motions because we have 2 types of meetings. So I'm going to ask for a motion for the approval of the minutes of the meeting of September 26th. We have a motion, please. Motion. Brand, second.
Second,
Dylan. Questions, comments about those notes? Roll call, please.
Mr. Curran. Aye. Mrs. Zelli.
aye.
Mrs. Dave.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham.
Aye.
Mr. Ruska. Aye. Ms. Pritchard.
Aye.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Aye.
Mr. Spider. Aye. Mr. Max.
Aye, thank you. Next, we'll have the motion for the approval of the minutes for the October 9th special work session.
So,
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Pritchard.
aye.
Mr. Ruska. Aye. Mrs. Dave.
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham. Aye. Mrs. Zelli.
Aye.
Mrs. Pavlik.
Abstain, I wasn't there.
Mr. Curran. Aye. Mr. Spider.
Aye.
Mr. Max.
Abstain. Thank you. Number 7, treasurer items for information. Mr. Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll go up to the board since we're going to talk about the forecast after. So one item to note on the finance projection, you can't see it, but we did receive our rollback dollars, roughly 900,000. So I moved it to Star Ohio. So we currently have just under 3 million in our Star Ohio.
And then plus that. Plus it. Thank you.
And then 8.2 million in our investment. Keep in mind, 1 million of that 8.2 million is the Ken Cleveland Foundation, $1 million to bring in some money on that as well. And then if we go to Nelson.
Scroll bars on the right. There's the scroll bars on the right.
Yeah, I see it now. All right, so September, this is a 3-day month, and that was one thing I wanted to highlight on here for this. And then I guess it. Any questions on that? Okay, I'll roll right into the forecast. You guys see that? Okay, so first line item, try and get the title here. The first line is real estate. As you know, we've had that update. That's the reason why Mr. Kuhn lost his position. We're scheduled to receive almost $13.5 million based on the difference between last year. That's roughly $2.6 million increase in real estate proceeds. The next thing for revenue, this is our state money. Last year, roughly 7 million. I think it's some change. I'll tell you exactly. $7,800,000 between career tech, which is restricted dollars and unrestricted. This year, we are scheduled to receive $8.5 million. That's a positive, almost $800,000 in state funding, due to the biennium budget, the new biennium budget, which is for years 24 and 25. And then, the one other thing I want to point out on here, if you look at, this is all other revenues, line 1.060, all other revenues, you will see this 1 million, which is a huge jump based on what we're showing. That is the Ken Cleveland donation. So that hit the books. I rolled it out, went into investments. So going forward this year and on, we'll receive roughly 200,000 in that line. And then let's go down to expenses. So under expenses, the one thing I really want to point out is your benefit line items. This benefit line item is the insurance, the retirement benefits for all staff in general fund. That is a 13% increase. So I bring that to your attention because we just had our insurance renewal with Suburban Health Consortium. Like Brunswick, we are all in that consortium. Well, Brunswick and us, and we received a 13% increase. I will tell you, the conversations at the consortium are looking to, we have at this time, 2 options on the table. One is a mid-year double-digit increase in April, or we leave Medical Mutual and go to another carrier that's going to save us roughly 6 to 12%. So we are still working that out as far as how we're going to go and decide on that. There's a lot of conversations that have been made. Right now, the reserve balance for the consortium is going to be negative roughly $2 million next fall at this time. So you asked what caused that? It's not the number of claims, it's the cost of care. The cost of care has gone up tremendously in the state, and Medical Mutual has not met that price point that they could, or what other carriers could. And so right now it's more of a nationwide firm that we were looking at, and it's Medina, which is now called Elevance. So there's benefits to going to a larger carrier, technology wise, reporting wise. There's other things that they can do that we think for the consortium than what Medical Mutual do.
When do you have to make that decision?
Well, we got to make it, I think, by December. We're meeting next week to discuss it further. We'll have some numbers that they'll give us, but we could move or jump, if you will. I know it sounds easy, but it's not. Move to Elevance as early as April.
Not apples to apples, is there any coverage loss on?
99% retention as far as carrier or doctors are concerned. So there would be a 1% roughly, maybe a little less difference in what this doctor has over Elevance's doc. You know what I mean? Like where they don't carry. But in a lot of cases, in situations like that, where if I go to Dr. Smith and he's not covered by Elevance, it's sometimes as simple as asking the doctor to join that carrier. It's not always, it doesn't always work out, but it can be that simple just to ask the doctor to join.
And will the deductibles or anything change for anyone?
It could, they could actually go down. We don't know that yet, and we don't know what the plan design is going to look like. As it stands right now, it would be all plan designs currently on the table would migrate over to the next carrier. But we're trying to come up with universal plan design, if you will. We're really close right now as far as there's 20 school districts in the consortium. About 12 or 13 of us are very, very similar for plan designs. You know, as far as what we carry, going to the ER, how much that costs is, so on and so forth. So we're really close, but we haven't scaled down or they haven't come up with a plan design per se.
Consortium we're in is Cuyahoga.
Yeah, suburban health consortium, which consists mainly of Cuyahoga County schools, Brunswick, and ourselves are.
Page 3, but in your written summary, you had mentioned about, legislative changes. Could impact those retirements and benefits. On page 3, it says. Yes.
Oh. Like legislative changes could be for the better, for example, but one of the legislative change, but SDRS has reduced their expenses by meeting the medical bill. And they actually agreed to it's situations like that where it can actually reduce the expense.
Okay.
And legislative changes going that way, you know, as far as what they require.
Okay.
For them. Yeah, that's why.
With the consortium, who has the authority to make that decision? The treasurer decide who it's going to have?
Superintendents are the authoritative figure, if you will, at the consortium level, but the treasurers historically always gone to those meetings and voted for the district. That's just how it's always been. But every consortium is different.
I have a question about the retirement. Is that, I don't know, you have to pick up on the staff.
We have pickup on a pickup for classified staff,
Okay.
not very certain.
Okay. And so that amount is what we're paying for the retirement, but all of the, including the employee.
Right, it's the employee share of their retirement.
Okay.
In this case, it's 11.
Okay.
So this video, the update we actually get at the board for, before the decision made on what we're gonna do with the situation.
Yeah. Specifically, we just manage through the proxy vote of the consortium members. I don't think anyone's interested in doing a double-digit mid-year increase since we just did a 13% increase. Historically, we've actually done really well in consortium. Historically, prior to this year, we've been like 4%, a 2%, 0% increase. And part of the issue is since COVID, costs gone up tremendously. We always thought it was the claims. It's not the claims. Once we did all the research and the reporting, it's actually cost money. And we've had discussions. And I was on the chair. I'm no longer the chair now, but I've had discussions with the medical mutual to start with their consultant. Well, they said they were. They haven't, and they completely disappointed us by not coming back to the table with better numbers. And
Says there's a major effect on medical mutual.
it does.
I think the number of lives they insure.
It's 14,000 lives. In the consortium, there's 14,000. They lost SDRS, which is I don't know how many, because they're losing their book of business because of their hardline approach to not wanting to change. The other part of the problem with medical mutuals, they've got a lot of turnover. They have a lot of new people there that aren't aware of what they're doing themselves, unfortunately. Last thing I wanted to touch on was just to give you an update on the capital outlay item. Okay. Just so you know, I have projected 1.5 million to transfer to PI at the end of this year. We talked about that previously. You can see what we did last year. 2.7 million, and then the previous year, 5 million, mainly because of the restaurant having a big volume. And then you will start noticing this amount here for this line item. This is a $35,000 advance that I advanced to Adult to cover their negative balance at the end of last year. That number's going to go up. You give a heads up because of the free tuition. That number is going to go up quite a bit because they're going to be in negative balance. So just going forward, just so you know, this is where you'll see that. So what we do is we advance money out to a negative fund, and then after we close the books for that year, I pull that money back into the general fund. And we can do that each year, you know, as negative balance comes to be, we'll do that each year just to make sure we're in compliance with the state Department of Education. Any questions? Okay. The treasurer action items is the monthly financial projection for October under item A, and then under item B is the 5-year forecast I just discussed. Do I have a motion for approval of items A through B?
So,
I'll second that.
any questions or comments for the treasurer?
Sure.
I did have one question now. Can I ask one for yourself? I think legislation to balance the real estate property tax with real estate market freedom. Is that going to pass? You know, and how will that apply?
Right now, it's in conference with the Senate, and we were trying to get Robachek to the latest meeting that we had with the treasurers, and he didn't come. But we're not sure where that's going to land yet. But we're anticipating that it could have some implications for us, all of us, real estate wise. I know that they backed off the reducing the 20 mil forward, so I know they did reduce that. I never heard anything about the career tech forward as far as that reduction. But, yeah.
The second question I had, I'm sure you're aware, PRS just they voted forward to increase contributions. I think the last figure I heard was 18%, 20% from the big supplier. Is it ready for us to follow suit?
I've heard a rumor that SPRS was looking at that, but we haven't seen anything in the legislation. The change in SCRS, I had a friend that was on the board, and I asked him about any increase to that. He said no. What they were looking at is gap insurance changes. So the guys that retire before they turn 65, so at 60 or 62, that's a gap between 62 and 65. And they were looking at changing the insurance to cover those retirees at a reduced insurance cost to both SCRS and the employee for the retiree. The one thing that they did do is they extended the age for treasurers, classified staff, and SCRS. They now have to work until I think 57, where if they had 30 years in, and prior to that they could retire. It's not the case now.
This historically is STRS and SCRS. Is there legislation that totally moved that phase?
No,
It's not, so separate. Right. So that's going to be huge on the first side.
right.
Because now there's then also the police and fire. They're going to mandate the PRSLE matches police and fire contributions. So, you know, PRS is a huge financial difference for a lot of organizations. Now STRS are
That's your response student. That's a huge find. That's a big job. Yeah, I hear. We don't hear the boss and everything else.
Well, case in point, SERS's employee share is only 11%. Yeah, that's what the pickup on the pickup. So really it's 10. And you look at STRS, it's 15. So there's a big difference. That, I mean, that just shows you they don't follow suit based on, and it all comes down to what their reserve balance is, their fund balance. How are they investing? What's their investments doing? I jokingly always say that SGRS has a better investment because it's run by treasuries. Not the best thing, but that's more of an insight to vote than anything.
ERS, they lost a ton of money with Enron. And then they were paying teachers and administrators 13 months instead of 12. But they had so much money they were giving it away. Then they put a stop to that. They already emptied their coffers. So ERS really hurt itself. They shut themselves before SCRS so did that.
I think a lot of people are really disappointed in STRS because they dole out those bonuses and now they're looking for more increase. Yeah, it's not good. Right. Thank you.
And if you do, STRS is reduced for, a member has to take the insurance. And so there's not going to be any, if we walk into the primary care, you're not going to have to pay any care. So, yeah, they're trying to make us feel better, but
Yeah.
the $1 million bonuses are a little much.
Yeah.
Any further questions for the prayer?
Thank you. Sorry.
No, you did great. Well informed. Roll call, please.
Mr. Schreiber?
Aye.
Mr. Kieran?
Hi.
Mrs. Dane?
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham?
Hi.
Mr. Huska? Aye. Mrs. Deli?
Aye.
Mr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Bradley?
Aye.
Mr. Massey?
Aye. Thank you so much. Number 9, community much anticipated superintendent items.
The first item for information, unfortunately, Mr. Hicks is under the weather, so we're calling in the bullpen, so he's noticed.
I know that Mr. Hicks is probably sad not to be here because he loaded this thing up with good stuff. And so I kind of looked through it, obviously before the meeting, and he really focused on some of our goals as administrators that come from Mr. Crispin, which is a focus on college credit options and opportunities, meaningful field trips, and community involvement. So he really kind of hit it hard on this. Our first one is Ashland, which is very exciting. It's a partnership that, from what I understand, is the first one of its kind in Ashland for our students that finish our criminal justice program. If they do go to Ashland, they can get up to 15 college credits, which is very exciting. I think the second part to that too.
The second part is those 15 hours are specific to criminal justice. Like sometimes colleges will give away hours. They'll give 30 hours. They don't mean anything. So these 15 hours are very specific to the line of criminal justice. But they also are C-tagging. If they pass the correctional officer certification, they're going to get 30 hours of electives. So these 15 are very specific towards criminal justice, and then the 30 hours will go towards electives. So a student that gets that certification could go to Ashland, and they have to attend at least a year, but they get 45 transcripted credits.
That's pretty online. And it's all online classes, correct?
They are, and this is the first time Ashland has gotten a bilateral agreement with any institution.
Very exciting. And then the next thing that we have down there is our college credit plus, some of their field trips that they've gone to LCCC, and that's just basically focusing on that meaningful field trip with a focus of the students knowing where the resources are at the college and just getting familiar with it because they're taking their courses here. We want them to be there and kind of be familiar. The next thing is PBIS. This is an exciting thing that I know we're working on. When you guys approved our student handbook last year, you would see that Mr. Hicks had some core values that he felt were very important for students to focus on. And one of our ones for this month is responsibility. So, that's what we've been really focused on with the kids. We've announced this. We have students sharing their experiences with responsibility. We're having teachers do like little tickets for when a kid doesn't be responsible. We're going to pull for a prize for both the student and the teacher. So it's really focusing on those core values, and that's what PBIS does. It is state mandated. We have to do it anyway. We do a lot of stuff all the time positive, but this is more structured, and we have a committee of teachers and administrators that work together to kind of come up with that plan.
So our most recent one that we just did with for attendance in September was which lab had the best attendance overall, and they got a pizza party. So we got power equipment juniors and the media production seniors got to enjoy a little pizza for being at school. And the next part is again more of that meaningful field trips. Our vision care program got to go to Ohio State and also see pilot dogs and you know, just get kind of some more information on their field. We had the students that got to the she-dig event, they've been getting it for 2 years, and this is just naturally for the females that are in labs that are not traditional to them to get out and about and kind of be immersed in the field, and they got to do a lot of fun little adventures together, and they have a fun day. The yearbook cover is always a big thing because your art is going to go, or you know, people are going to have your art forever and in the yearbook. So Lucas Helmet from the Diamond City was our winner this year because his art right there. So that's always fun to do. We go in and judge as a team. So the administrative team comes in and the students share why they did the art that they did. So it's always fun to see their perspective and why they're doing it. Advisory council, I know some of you were there. It was wonderful. It was great as normal. And then also we had 2 advisory council members that we nominated and selected because they just helped us out so much about engineering and animal care. It's a lot of community involvement there to help us out to make sure that our kids are getting the skills that they need out in the field. And then this one's mine, so I'm just excited to say, but animal care, like animal management care program, they've done trunk or treat for a few years now. Every year it gets bigger and bigger. The ladies, the instructors do a wonderful job of planning. They've really every year incorporated more and more labs to kind of showcase that to the community. Last year, I think maybe about 250 people came. It was a lot. I'm not very good at estimating.
It was so big that I literally gave Mr. Hicks the credit card number and I said, go to Drug Market, every piece of candy in the store.
Yeah, we have a ton of stuff. So we have pictures from last year up there. This year, the only change is going to be in our student lot. So when you come with your family, just come and hang out, park up to the front, and then walk back. We are going to have hay rides this year. So if there's anybody that also has any mobility issues or little kids that don't want to walk that far, the hay ride will come and get them. And that's from the power equipment crew. Every lab is trying to do something. I know Sports Med is doing like an obstacle course. We have a petting zoo. The Twisted food truck will be there. You know, they're just trying to incorporate as much. I know that every day I hear about a new activity that somebody wants to do. They're also doing a pumpkin carving competition for every lab. And every lab is supposed to create a pumpkin that kind of represents their lab. So I was in HVAC today, they were creating some with like sheet metal. I don't know what they were doing, but you know, just to kind of keep advertising and get kids here and seeing what we do here. So that is on the Monday before Halloween. So mark your calendars. It's beautiful.
Well done.
Can I ask something real quick about animal care?
Yes.
You do dog grooming and everything still here?
Yeah.
So
We have doggy daycare and dog grooming. Something they can appointment.
I was called here making an appointment. And then do you guys do anything with or interested in doing anything with training dogs, be service dogs or anything like that? That's something that could be something in the future, or
service dog and would be a certification would be more significant than what I think we could get into. That's pretty advanced with behavioral training. They do a little bit of training, like say there's the basic commands, but I think that would be about it.
yeah, I just know it's such a huge demand. I thought, well, we can get into that.
Well, while I'm in this little role right real quick, I want to kind of do a plug. We are doing we're getting the flyer, they're actually working on it now to send out to some of your schools and also some community preschools. But they are doing an education program that we're doing this classes of nursing homes as well, and some you know, we even call that where the students want to teach others about the animals. So like if there's preschool students or kindergartners, they can come in our building and see our animals and our teaching them and just kind of give them experience, and also it saves them more time in our building. We're going to check things out, and parents and teachers. So if you know any teacher that would be interested in that, I guess reach out to me or the animal care representative. We are going to send out an email, so we do a flyer. You have that, I'll make sure that's shared too.
Also, part of the principals, well, it's not principals in Portland in this section. Aubrey Stein, a senior in Brunswick, and the Allied Health and Nursing Program is selected as the student ambassador, and she is unbelievably involved between athletics, volunteerism, everything. She's just a really, really neat young lady. see kind of all of her information is there.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about this report of the superintendent? The by dinner, Bob was there, Gene, Chuck, Jim was really well attended, great information, and people are walking around, very impressed with what we're doing. It's pretty, and the last thing would be the camping thing. I did it last year for the first time. It's a lot of fun. Pumpkins on the trees. So even if you don't want to sit in your car and hand out candy, you can't stop up here, walk around. A lot of kids from our county show up for this. This was fun. That's
all that MCCC record report.
Yes, I'll be brief. I'm just going to focus on what I believe is the highlight of the month, and that is the fact that we were awarded the maximum dollar amount from the state of Ohio through a competitive grant process. And what the state is looking for today is they're looking for data, and they're looking for direct linkage to Ohio's top jobs. The state has created the Ohio Department of Higher Education and state of Ohio have worked together to create a website that is Ohio Top Jobs. And if we go to just Google Ohio Top Jobs, it will come up. And you can actually break that down to regions. And so I had to write this grant. This was an entirely new process that they created an RFP for, and I had to break out the budget. I appreciate Aaron's assistance for getting that together. I was very excited that we were awarded the highest amount, which is $50,000. So those dollars will go directly towards continuing some of the customized training that we are providing this school year, which is like our Fire 36. So fire departments contacting us to get those firefighters exactly what they need to be ready to respond with the 36-hour training, our EMT training as well, and our customized training that Sandy Perlmeyer, which we've known Mrs. Perlmeyer, who is our business consultant that she provides to the businesses. She just put together a training for the health department, and that provided over 30 employees of that kind of health department with a variety of Excel training at the basic and the advanced intermediate levels of that. So that was something that we were able to do on site with them through hiring a contract employee to go in there and do that. So that's how customized training works. So this allows us to continue to expand that to other businesses around the Medina County. And we're always excited to be invited to area high schools, and there'll be some additional opportunities for us to continue to do that throughout the school year so that we can reach out to those seniors right there when they're graduating, starting to make some of those decisions about what they're going to be doing next school year. And we are going to have a banner, okay, that promotes the free tuition initiative. So I'm just waiting to get that for fast sign. So you can have a little bit more attention rather than me standing there saying, hey, did you know that we offer free tuition at the Medina County Career Center? And it was another busy month. So thank you. Thank you.
Building and ground report is there. I did add a couple of items after talking with Dennis and Tina that were kind of big events and things that were happening in the district. So I wanted to highlight those. For those that have any interest, go ahead and click on the first one in that if you don't mind. So the historic clock there on Medina Square, some of you are familiar with it. It's been a never down a rabbit hole day looking at what jewels it's been. It was High's jewelry, it's been some other things. And if you remember in 2000, it was actually March 24th of 21, we unveiled we restored the High's part of the sign. Well, here recently, they've asked us, I'm going way out of order, that's why I'm messing with her. So that was taken March 21st of 21. Our auto collision students and our auto collision and our precision machining students redid that High's sign, the original High's jewelry. For those that don't know, that used to be the official time for all of Medina County. Its mechanism went underneath the jewelry store, and it was when High's went out of business. They then, in 1983, they unveiled the Medina, Ohio. So you can see that that plate was still on there. So as a history buff, I love this. So we restored the High's part. Then the city asked us to do the block part and the Medina, Ohio part. So that is made out of cast iron. So what we have done is on our CNC machine, we cut out all of the new lettering, we cut out the new base, the new system, we powered, we bead blasted and then powder coated the cast iron again. And what was really cool, for those of you that are seeing the bottom left-hand picture, I was talking to Murray Van Eck about it because he's kind of the history guy for me. Scroll down just a little bit, I think it has the date on it. December, it was actually December of 1983. They did the unveiling with the Medina, Ohio. So 40 years ago. They're going to do another unveiling almost at the exact same time at the site that we totally destroyed. So, I mean, one of the most iconic things in all my diamond, they gave our students and trusted our students and our instructors to redo. So that clock is here. It is here right now. It is no longer going to be run under the mechanicals underneath. It is now done through digital controls and LED lighting. So if you have interest after the board meeting, and you have to walk me over there, or if you just want to wait until the candlelight walk and those kinds of things, it'll be on the square. But it was an awesome opportunity. There were a couple of students that were given this project, and so Todd Mason and his students were going to actually present on the project. The only reason this is here today is because that thing is supposed to be leaving here this week. So if you have interest in seeing it here, I want to make sure you were aware that I can walk down.
Do they know a nameplate or anything? No, the career center.
So the one that said the 1983 with the metal plate, they are redoing that. I think that plate is still going to stay on at some point, but then there's going to be one that is extremely similar that will say Medina County Career Center. It'll probably, I'm sure Larry Wilson want his name there instead of Bill Lamb, but it'll say December of 2023. So a similar plate has been made.
Nice.
I think that's cool, actually. Really good. Okay, for those of you that also saw the network putting all of that together, the next thing you see is, this was very, very cool. Those of you that were at the advisory council, you saw that Tony Bianco was elected as an advisory council member of the year. Tony is an engineer by trade, but Tony is also what we would call a foodie. He is not a classically trained chef, but he is in the American Culinary Federation. And he specializes in something called bulgogi. And bulgogi is a Korean meat, and it is amazing. So the American Culinary Federation knew about this restaurant and specifically wanted Tony to teach them how it's actually made, literally from beginning to end. And so from the hanging of the meat to the seasoning of the meat to the everything. And so they specifically wanted here because of the teaching kitchen that we created. There's nothing like it anywhere. No restaurant's going to have that. None of the other career centers created a teaching kitchen. So as he was teaching it, the cameras were on him. These chefs from literally all over the county were able to stand there and witness the event. So the fact we made it a high-tech teaching kitchen, and Mary will appreciate that, like, goes down the bottom left-hand corner, it's one of my favorite pictures. There were 9 responders and we zoomed in to see exactly what he said. The meat needs to brown to exactly this look before we go ahead and switch it from height and build it. So I know that a lot was put into this restaurant and everything, but I can tell you the publicity we got from the American Culinary Federation just on this event alone was unbelievable. And again, the teaching kitchen was a lot of vision from Chef Tony to create that, to be able to host an event like that. There is no F, so forgive me for not letting you know that there was an items for information F, and I know that I'm outside of the consent agenda because that's really things that you're approving. Annette was given a project recently, and she has completed the project. The project is, and I'm going to let you explain what you want to explain with me.
Yes, this math we can do the dedication of that regional lab that we talked at the with the 15th as well. So I will be looking at signs, and they are all complete. Graciously incorporated from the check, and so I know they're on their way. But it mentions the board members that were on during that time, excuse me, on the bottom, this is super. So those will be found wherever Gary deems appropriate. He's hopefully close to the inside of the door as you walk into the lab. So when somebody walks in, they know what we're in that lab, what is trying to make it, and then the board members that's what it is.
So there's actually a piece that's above that. One more second, because you're going to want to see this. The ones that are out in the hallway are intentional in what they're doing with stickers, so that in case a room changes a room number, you can pull the sticker and go again. if you feel this as you go through, that's not a sticker, that is a laser engraving with a color underneath. So basically, they put the black plate, they color it with this, then they laser engrave. The purpose of that is that it will never fade. That was another touch that made. So we have now officially touched every area. So now we can go into those program areas and go back to the last 10 years. If you were a board member, there was a little bit of a trick. Were you a board member when we said go ahead with the project, or when we completed it? We had to pick one or the other. Now, for Mike, it's totally irrelevant. You get to be on all of them, no matter which way you pick. Actually, that I think you two as well. But we picked when it was basically open. So that was the day. So I really appreciate Annette doing those. She really looked back at all of the project dates, all of the board member dates, and those will be hung at everyone. And then when you tore through it, it'll be kind of cool to be able to say, this is when this area was renovated, this is when this area was renovated, and really see that walking history. So thank you, Annette, for putting that together. I really, really appreciate that. I think that's on class. That acrylic goes with what we, our branding style. So I'm giving for an F, but
Annette, you did it out of progress. Thanks. Good job.
Steve, can we just step back to the building and grounds report? With the due date column and it's not populated. And I have mentioned it a couple of other times before about sorting it. I was curious to see what new projects were happening. So I had to print out September's and then October's, and then I stepped through it line by line, highlighting the status changes here. And I have noticed that there were 9 new items that were added to October, and 4 have already been completed. And there were 4 notes changed to complete and 3 notes that changed status. But there's 12 items shown as complete on both the September and October. So I would think that they would drop off.
now they drop off July 1 of every year.
Okay.
And I can get rid of that whole column of due date. This is his working document. So I appreciate, I like the way he thinks, and I like the way that he's got his design. We have not used due date because, like what Gary described later, he was like, I can say it's due date here, but if stuff hits the fan, this is taking precedent. So no, nothing drops until July 1 unless it's not completed. But that's why it says final completed projects 22, 23, 24. Nothing drops until July 1.
Okay, is it possible to maybe sort them by completes or maybe move the complete?
We can send you an Excel because that's how it comes to us. We can PDF it, but I'm not going to ask them to change this document to that because this is what works for them.
Number 10, anything else? I just wanted to make a comment. This is for the staff that puts this together. And what I heard are, we have a board session period, and I shared your salary for so I appreciate the work effort because this is what I want to see. I review those items that people see that. It's always because of the very well. It's very result what I know they were saying. I didn't want to make this clear than files. So it gets it's a part. So thank you.
We appreciate you sharing back to your boards. That's why it's important to connect with their boards.
Thank you. Real quick, this really doesn't have anything with our meeting, but well, we touched on past and current board members. William Schmock's in the Avenue in Medina, on rehab. He's been sick for a long time, and so they just checked him into the Avenue. So they don't want to give him a call or check in on him. We'd appreciate it. Talk about you guys all the time. We love it here. So, thank you.
Action items. The first thing you'll see is that CTX award. I have the contract there, so I would ask for your approval. Once it's approved, I will sign, return to the Ohio Department of Higher Education, and we'll see $50,000 that Chris was talking about. The adult ed registration meeting, but you can see that was a request of Genie's that we talked about at the work session. We have moved a significant amount of money out of the registration fee and rolled it into actual tuition. We have not talked about at much length, but I did share in my weekly about software engineering and web development workstations. Your battery died. Let's just run it real quick because I got that. That all works in my part.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but I am very providing us lots that really happen. And speaking of tech, we'll see how it works, but thank you to Mary and her team. You now have this eyeball thing in the middle that's called an OWL system. And so the bar that you're looking at is actually doing a panoramic at all times. And then the OWL, as you speak, it's recording everybody at all times, but as you speak, it then records just that individual. So there's little screens that are popping up. So I'm sure I'm in one of the corners, even as we speak right now. And then there's two different sound bars that are not sound bars, but like this is the mic, and we're hoping it's going to get up. It worked in practice. There is breathing heaven, but I have total confidence in it. I really do. So we've not talked much about software engineering. Mary and I met last Tuesday and we were looking at work orders, and unfortunately the work orders for her specific software engineering were significant. So we said he's got to get new computers. They're just, and that's all he uses. They just use computers. And so Mary secured 4 quotes. She did work with the instructor to say what will work and what will not work. She also has what programs are running on those computers and what was added that was so memory hungry that made 2017's, even with the memory increase, basically obsolete. So she prepared that as well. You can see the student minimum wage we talked about in our work session, moving from currently under minimum wage to minimum wage plus $1.50. A textbook, which was 911 dispatch, is up for approval. Personnel, we literally thought we were going to get away with no personnel, and we had no personnel, and then adult ed added 1 person, and then some substitutes came in. The high school supplemental request is every 5 years. Every career tech program and every academic program is required to do a new course of study. Every course of study is allotted 30 hours. But if you see some are at 15 or some are at 10, English 3 would be an example. There are 3 people working on that, each got 10. Another one, there might be 2 people working on it, they each get 15. If there's 1 individual, they get the full allotted 30. So that's why you're seeing some 10s, some 15. But 7.5 is because it is a semester long and someone else is working on it. So a semester long doesn't need the 30, it gets 15, and he's collaborating with someone. So that's just basic math. Okay, back to the agenda, please. And donations. The top line is obviously the highlight. We did discover that the actual money that Aaron confirmed with Max Miller's group was $43,500 to be applied to student fees. And so I did, just before we walked in here, I did a joint press release with his people. And so we were working on that. And then there's some donations for that. But I know that he's going to come present that to the students on this set. So I know a couple of board members have expressed interest in being here for that time. Then engineering did a car show sponsored by Medina Auto Mall. And then you see some other things for power equipment. Power equipment can't go a month without a donation of some sort. So for A through G, I would ask for your support and be glad to answer any questions. May I have a motion, please?
I have a motion to include items A through G.
Questions or comments for the superintendent on A through G?
I just want to thank Mary for the detailed breakdown that you did on this quote. This is fabulous. Because and it saved me a lot of work as head going and searching. Thank you. Yes, so you did a phenomenal job. Thank you.
Anybody else? Not being late. Roll call.
Ms. Pritchard?
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham?
Aye.
Mrs. Day?
Aye.
Mr. Ruska? Aye. Mrs. Deli?
Aye.
Mrs. Stavlik?
Aye.
Mr. Kieran?
Aye.
Mr. Stiver? Aye. Mr. Matt?
Aye, thanks so much. Number 11, board member comments. Be the time of year for any board members who would like to comment on anything.
I would just like to share an experience that I had. We were down at the Taste of the Browns, down at the stadium, at the beginning of September. And it is a big fundraiser for, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. So I had all the players, Trevor Thomas was there. So it was definitely a big event. We're walking out and all of a sudden behind me, I hear, Medina County Career Center, Chef Tony. And I'm like, hey, so I turned around and I saw who was speaking and I, introduced myself as the board member and he shook out his hand and he gave me his business card and here he's Todd Whitman from Serenity. He was behind and he was going on and on about the career centers, their participation in the Taste of Medina County and how they won best restaurant.
Best show.
Yes, and he was telling the group of people that he was with, so I just thought that was really fun. I wanted to share that the career center is being recognized in our life.
He actually was here for the Golgotha event as well.
But yes,
He's a big guy.
yeah, and his story is,
Outstanding.
yes, for sure.
Any other comments?
I'm glad to see that in the development programs, the Medina students are participating. I'm sure there are other programs because every board meeting I go over the tradition. And anything else that happens, but I do appreciate all the hard work that all the administrators do. And I didn't talk about the Ken Cleveland grant. And I do want to thank Mr. Butts for his finding, the program to be scheduled in December and including the financials. These numbers are just driving us up a while.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else? Very good. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to move on to executive session. We'll have we go to executive session for number 2, purposes of employment with no action to follow. And I have a motion to go into executive session. So moved. Second, Mr. Stein, thank you.
Mr. Huska? Aye. Mr. Steiner?
Aye.
Mrs. Dane?
Aye.
Mr. Gillingham?
Aye.
Mrs. Ellie?
Aye.
Mr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Savage?
Aye.
Mr. Karen?
Aye.
Mr. Madison?
Aye. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. See you in the